We're going to take a look at the product and offer hub. So this is where you plan out any new products and where you keep all the assets relating to your products organized. So we have an index section here on the left where you can access the backend database, which just has all the information about all your products. And we have access to our launched products, which you can see here as well, because I've got a view of it just within the hub homepage. We then have a section where you can input any new ideas. You would just click this button. You would input what your new idea is. And then you should see it shows up down here now in your ideas automatically. So this is just a quick way to access. If you say you have an idea when you're in bed, you can go straight to this and input the idea without having to kind of search for a way to input. So we'll just delete that too. So I'm going to use a bit of a meta example because it's the one that I've got most fleshed out in here. I'm going to use this template that I'm demoing right now as a digital product and show you everything I've entered in here. So I've clicked on it to open it, and you can see I have an option of side peak, center peak and full page. So I'm going to select full page so we don't get distracted. And so I've input the title for it here, AI Online Business Management Template. I may change the name of that, but that's my working title. And I've filled in details about who it's for, what's included, what problem it solves, and why me. So why me is my positioning. What makes me different to other people on the market? What is my angle? And once I've input all that information, I can ask AI to suggest some names, clicking this little magic wand here. Now, I don't think AI is great at naming things right now. It always comes up with these kind of really cheesy ideas, but AI is always improving, so I've kept this prompt in here for when that happens. And you never know, one of the ideas that AI comes up with may prompt an idea in your own mind. And then this next section is one of my favorite sections. So this is price suggestions generated by AI. So this is based on the target audience, the problem, and the problem the product solves, and the features. This will suggest a pricing strategy for you. So I'm not going to click this because I quite like what AI has produced already, but I could regenerate it by clicking that magic wand again. So this is the strategy it's suggesting for this product is an introductory price of $99 going up to a regular price of $149, which kind of ties in with what I was thinking based on my knowledge of kind of other Notion templates and systems. But I think this is a good thing to have if you tend to get in your own head and often underprice yourself. I do think it suggests prices on the low end, but it's good to help you come up with almost a minimum price if you do tend to price too low. Then we have some other features which are not AI based but are going to help you to plan and just play around with things. So we've got your product format. So if I click on this, you can see all the options. We've got one-on-one service, group programmer service, pre-recorded course with live element, self-study course, digital product, subscription membership, directory marketplace, and agency. So you pick whichever one is you. And then we have our payment structure. So we've got one-off, maybe people pay you weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly. And you can see these numbers in brackets. That's how many payments you're going to get in a year. So you want to take that number and you want to type it in here based on which one you select. And this is just so that you can do some calculations and see how profitable your offer is. So then you pop in your proposed selling price here. So I've gone with the $149. I've decided to pay myself $30 an hour just as a kind of minimum what I would like my take-home pay to be. So I've got a digital product in here. Digital products don't tend to be tied that much to time when it comes to delivering the product or service. Marketing is a whole other issue, but it's more so for services or group programs where you're taking time to deliver that product. So then I've input the hours needed to deliver the product. So I've just put in a small portion of an hour here. I've put 0.2 because you do tend to get some customer service inquiries about how to access the product, or emails every now and then to deal with digital products. So that's just allowing for that. If this was a service, you would put in how many hours approximately you need to deliver that service. And then this will work out your labor costs based on what you have put in as your hourly rate. And then you can put in what your transaction charges are. So if you use Stripe, or for example, I use PayHip, which charges 5% on the plan I'm on and a 50-cent flat fee. So I've got the 50-cent flat fee in here and the 5% in here. So this works out what my transaction fees are. So then the yearly income, this is yearly income based on one person. So this is just to show you roughly how profitable something is. Obviously, if it's something that's relying on scale, this is going to be a little off, but it's just making sure it still makes sense for you to deliver it. So the yearly income is $149 for one sale. The total costs for that sale are $13.95. So that's for my time and transaction fees. And so my gross profit before I pay for any of my other expenses is $135.05. So that just is to kind of help you keep on top of the numbers. Then we have a space for any graphics or photographic assets for you to attach, links to any sales copy, links to any marketing copy. Then we have a link to testimonials so that you can access testimonials relating to that product easily. And you can change these to attach these assets, or you can link to them stored elsewhere. It's up to you. To do that, you would change the property. You would click on the property, click Edit Property. You go to Type, and you can change to URL or to File. So you can change between the two based on how you want to run these and where you want to store your assets. Okay, and then at the bottom here, we have a link to our task manager. So you can see a list of tasks here, and then you can just create new tasks. So let's say I have a task that I've created this product, and I want to allocate some time to come back and flesh it out and start working on the sales asset. So I would put work on sales assets for online business management system, and I click the plus, and that's created a new task in my task manager. I've not allocated a date, so it will be in my inbox. So when we go to look at the task manager section, we'll cover that off and see what we do with it then. Okay, so now we have all our sales and marketing assets creations tools down here. So this is all linked to this database entry. So the reason I've set this up this way is because the way Notion AI works is Notion AI can only read from within a database. So if I want AI to generate ideas for this product, I need to have it all set up within this product entry in this database. So I have a market research section. This isn't AI based. It would be great if you could just pull through information automatically. Maybe I'll work out how to do that one day. But at the moment, what you would do is you click this button and it just adds a space for you to start pasting in some market research. So I like to go to YouTube videos and copy and paste comments across that are in relation to the problem I'm solving. I also like to find information in Facebook groups. Reddit's a good play. You would just fill that in, and it's going to give AI more information to pull from. But for the purposes of this, I'm not going to fill it in because it's going to take too long. So next up, we have all our sales assets. So we have this in toggles so that the page doesn't go on forever and a day. And so it's split into write sales page, write email sequence, create webinar outline, create 5-day challenge outline, suggest sales mechanisms, and long form content ideas. So we'll take a look at these each individually to see how they work. So first up, we have write sales page. So this is a button that you click, and it's going to, so when we click it, it comes up with a prompt. We just click generate, we wait, and based on the information that we input on our product info up here, it's going to write a sales page. So I've given it a kind of prompt of the things I want included on the sales page. And usually it's quite short and a little bit generic, so you are going to need to go into this and add your own spin to it, make it more personalized, give it some personality. but it's going to give you the bones of your sales page based on your product. So what you can do, if you like what it's generated, you can duplicate this and then start working on it, and you've still got the original in case you mess up when you're working on your own version and editing it. If you don't like it, you can click this update button and it will, oh, it's doing the bottom one, never mind, and it will create a new version for you. And once you're done working on your sales page, you can hide it to go on and work on other parts of your sales assets. So next up we have email sequence. So in here we do the same thing, we click the button and it's going to generate a 7-part email sequence to run over 5 days. Well, it's up to you how many days you span it over, but it's going to generate a 7-part email sequence. So it generates each email. So this is going to take a little bit of time, so I shall pause while it does this. Okay, so I've got my email sequences. So I can now go into these and edit them the same as the sales page to make them more like me and fill in any of this placeholder information and just add the human touch really. And once I'm happy with my sequence, I can then copy each individual email. So let's just take this one the way it is. It's suggesting subject lines as well, which is great. Right, here we go. So if I just copy all this the way it is, and go down here and click this toggle that says Email Marketing Hub. This is a direct link to my Email Marketing Hub. So if I have a set date for this sequence to go out, if it's a live launch where live dates are happening, I can add in my email sequence here. Look, I've already created one. I'm going to delete this and show you how you would do it from scratch. So let's say we want the sequence to start on the 2nd of July. Let's just go in here and we'll add an end date. So this is at least a 5-day sequence. Let's say we want it to end the following Tuesday. We can set the dates there. We'll call this Launch Sequence Online Biz Management System. Okay, so this top section we'll get into when we're on the email marketing section. It's for individual emails, but we have this email sequence template at the bottom. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to type in email 1. And then for the email copy, I'm just going to paste in what I copied and make that a bit bigger so it's not so deep. And I can copy across the subject line and any other information. Send date if it's a specific date. So I said the 2nd of July there, didn't I? So the first email will go out then. And I can do the same if I do this on side view. So I can still see all this. I can go up then and I can go to email 2 and make this a bit smaller for a minute. I'm going to try and copy email 2. And then I can go down and add in email 2. Paste in the content and kind of plan them out and plan out what days these emails are going out. And I have this all in my email hub ready to go. So that's how the email sequence part works. Next up, I have suggest sales mechanisms. So this is just a little bit of an extra kind of fun one to see if we can come up with, because everybody does webinars and 5-day challenges, to see what AI comes up with. And I guess this will change as time goes on as AI learns more. So we click this button and this is all based on what I'm selling. So it's reading obviously the information of what your product is or what your service is. And I'll just click generate. I've set up this prompt to suggest an easy sales mechanism, an interesting sales mechanism, and an innovative one. I suppose interesting and innovative are fairly similar, to be honest. So let's see what it's come up with. So easy, it's come up with starting a weekly newsletter, AI for business insiders. So it's suggesting to use a weekly email newsletter specific to using AI for business. Interesting is a day in the life challenge, how to use AI online business management template in day-to-day operations, daily tasks for a week. So it's a bit like a 5-day challenge, that one. And then innovative is to host a virtual roundtable discussion about AI for business, which is quite an interesting idea actually. So it's just giving you some different ideas. And again, you can duplicate this if you like them, and you can press the button again to get more ideas. So it's just a way to kind of help you brainstorm other ways to sell. Next up, we have webinar outline. So this is, if I click the button, click generate, it's going to create a webinar outline. I'm going to pause while this generates. So it's created an outline here, and I would say this outline is kind of more geared towards if you were selling a course or something rather than a template. So what I can do, this is a great way for me to demo this, is I'm going to delete this version. I'm going to click the button which shows you what the prompt is, and I'm going to say, this says at the moment, please outline a sales webinar that provides 3 valuable lessons. I'm going to change that to demonstrate how to use the system but still leaves the viewer feeling positive even if they don't buy. We'll see if it comes up with something a bit different. So I'm really just showing you this to show that you can change the prompt if it's down here. If it's in the table, like the pricing suggestion, you can't change the prompt very easily without changing it for all of your products. But down here, when you change the prompt, you're only changing it in this instance, and it'll still remain the templated prompt everywhere else. So we'll click generate. Okay, so it's now changed the structure of the webinar slightly to be more of a demo. And interestingly, it's said in here in the demo section, I'll walk you through each hub, showing you how the system covers all aspects of online business management, which is funny because that's exactly how I'm structuring this video. So that's come up with a totally different output, obviously, by me changing the prompt slightly. So it's handy to have that functionality. So you can again edit this in here, you can duplicate it and edit, or edit in the original if you want. I've left a space here for you to add your own version as well, which you can use, or you can just edit directly in the AI section. And then once you're happy with it, you can, or even before that, when you've got the kind of bare bones of what you're going to do, you can add it directly into the product database as its own product from here by clicking this new button. So let's click that. And we'll call this for Online Biz Management System and close that. And now if I go back here to the hub, it's easier to see things in the hub. If we go to ideas, you can see it's now in here as its own product, Webinar for Online Business Management System. And when you create the webinar as its own product, that means you can go through this whole process then for your webinar as well. Because it is essentially its own product. It just happens to be a free product that people are signing up for, but you can fill all the info in for that and get suggestions for your sales and marketing assets for the webinar. Then we have 5-day challenge, and this works in exactly the same way as the webinar, so I won't bother clicking anything for that. And again, you can add it in as its own product into the product database. And then lastly, we've got long form content ideas. So this, when we click the button, click generate, is going to come up with lots of long form content ideas. So we have some general content ideas. We've got some awareness content ideas for people who are problem aware but not solution aware. Consideration ideas when people are starting to consider solutions, and then purchase content ideas for when people are at that purchase stage. So let's just look at a general content idea for now. Why is the future of online business management? We'll just use that one for the sake of this. I can click and copy this, and I can input this into my long form content calendar. So I'm going to go into the next month. It's getting a bit full. This actually has all my YouTube videos on it, so I'm going to go for Thursday so I can find this again later. I'm going to paste this in here. And we will come back to this when we look at the content planning hub, the primary content planning hub. So I'm just going to put that in here just now as is, and then we'll come back to it. We'll just put the status as idea. So that's kind of all the sales assets and marketing assets. Then we have customer onboarding and feedback. So I've got customer onboarding, so I'll delete this well, I won't bother deleting it again, but it works the same way. You click the button, you get the prompt, and you click generate. So here's some ideas that AI has already come up with for customer onboarding. So we've got a welcome email, an initial product walkthrough, access to training resources, check-in calls, surprise gift to delight the customer, regular updates, and feedback and reviews. So it's just suggesting like basically some emails and other things you can do to really make your customer feel good once they buy from you, so that they're going to be a fan and recommend you to other people, essentially. So that's what that section's about. And then we've got customer feedback, and it's exactly the same. You click the button and then click generate. And so this is suggestion for questions for a feedback form. So we've got, how did you first hear about the product? What motivated you to purchase? So it's really just about collecting information about how people found you, what they like about the product, what they don't like about the product, what you could improve. And then also at the end, asking what they would say to a friend or colleague, and then asking if you can use any of their responses for a testimonial or for marketing purposes to get that permission to use feedback for testimonials. So this is really all just to prompt you, because these are things you can often forget about, to remember to use them as part of your process. And lastly, we've got a metrics section, which you may or may not decide to use, but this isn't using AI, this section. But this really goes through working through some examples just to figure out, using this table, what metrics are going to be most important to you. So if you just sell one product, this is maybe going to be more useful to you. If you sell a variety of products and services, you might want to track all metrics, but this might help you if you're wanting to hone in on just specific metrics. You can work through this table and work out what's going to be best. There's an example up here for you to follow. So this links directly to the metrics page, and you can see at a glance revenue, but obviously this will be for all your products. Monthly sales, average order value, and they're all toggled again so that it's not taking up too much space. And I've got these linked to charts in an add-on that's called Rows, but I believe charts are coming to Notion soon, so when that happens, I can add the charts in myself so that you don't have that extra faff. So that is everything in the product database. It's kind of the main meat of this, and you do a lot of the work within the product database.